Welcome back to the channel. Let's explore now what do we need to do if I have my own production company to bring into life a project that I have, a script that we have, and where do I go? What do I do? What are the next step in terms of business development in order for me to raise the financing? Now, there's many ways you could go about this. I'm going to give you one roadmap that's going to help you. But again, it depends on where you start. It depends also who's attached to your project. It depends on how much you have already in. It depends of many other variables than this one roadmap. But this is an example of one roadmap that could be applied. So let's get right into it. Hello again, Sylvain Gauthier, the executive producer. Now, on this one, contrary to the one that I did previously, if you haven't seen it, I suggest to go see it. We'll assume that you have a company, like you are a production company, and or you just created your new production company, and you have a project, and now what you try to do is to bring it into life and get some financing to be able to move into production. So let's take a look at a roadmap like this. So it's a bit different versus the other one. The other one was we needed to create a company to bring investors. On this one, not necessarily, we're not bringing investor. If we do bring investor, it'll be part of our company. So it's a bit different, right? So, but it starts the same way. You have the creative. You will need to generate the script. It's very rare that you could do it just on an idea, unless you are, I don't know, somebody with a big name in the industry and say, oh, I got this great idea for a movie. Yeah, okay, you might be able to get away just with that, or I've got this great idea and I got Brad Pitt and I got this. So yeah, you might not need the script, but majority of time you're going to need at least the script. So this is what people are holding on to make a decision. Is that something we want to get involved with or not, right? So of course you're going to need the script. If you don't have a script, you're going to have to get it written. If you don't have the money to get it written by someone, there is some funds that exist to help with that. But keep in mind that it might not be enough, okay? A good script could cost you quite a bit. And I'm not going to say price here because they vary. And I suggest that you go on different website that are focused on for script writers and to find one them and to ask them how much they would charge you. So you need a script. Typically you will need also a storyboard. Okay, now the storyboard could come later. Okay, if for example this is like a story that is not necessarily, there's not any special effect or there is no use of VFX, that you might get away without something very simple in terms of storyboard. But as soon you start to have a little bit of VFX and special effects and a lot of CGI there, chances are people will ask for at least a first cut of the storyboard so they have an idea of what do you visualize for these scenes that you are putting in your script there. And then in the creative, you're going to need the production project. You're going to need to tell them how much it's going to cost to do this, what is the schedule that you're looking at, what is the level of performance that you're looking at in terms of quality, in terms of people. So you need a good production plan. But also, I would suggest let's make sure you got all the intellectual property. You need anything related with the legals, anything related with procurement. Sometimes people forget that the people working the procurement process for looking for vendors and collecting tree bids and selecting this costs money. Okay, so just saying we're going to buy something $500,000, yeah, it might cost you $500,000 to buy it, but the process might be very costly also. So don't forget the process, because this could come and bite you there. Any contract negotiation, if requires travelings, lawyers could cost you a lot of money if they need to fly somewhere for the negotiation. So let's make sure that your a project plan for this production is complete and not just focusing on production of the content, but also the business side. you're going to need a business plan. Okay. Also, why? Because people needs to understand what is the potential return of this movie. So it might not be as intense as a business plan. If you create a new business with investor, the business plan might be a little bit lighter because your business is existing. So you already have. Now this project will be an additional revenue for you and will be additional costs. Therefore, how are you going to manage that so it does not, bring funds to finance other venture that you might have? You're doing an event somewhere and you're going to use the money. So because you're going to have, people that will be financing you, chances are they might not be investors. They might be like, funds or organization, cultural organization. So again, they will want to know how's their money is going to be used, that they're providing you. What's the portion, what's the mechanism for control. So the business plan is going to be key also, but not as intense as the other where you're creating a new business. Marketing plan also, what's the plan to get this project in front of an audience? It's one thing to say we're going to use distributor and an agency. Okay, so is that going to be social media? Is that going to be a combination of social media? So how do we reach the people you want to reach? So you can't just go and thinking, well, it's not going to be me, it's somebody else. Because in your business plan, you're going to put potential revenue, okay? And you're going to put also what we call a recouping value chain where people can see how much money is going to be generate, how much going to be taken by the different partner like the distributors and other people coming at you. So how much needs to go in marketing to be going there, and what do you plan to do with this marketing money? That might change as you're going to later on involve agencies and people that are in the business, and also based also on your capability of doing social media and the whole bit. But you need a plan, in terms of how we're going to reach that audience and get these revenue that we're putting in the business plan. Once you have all of this, you have your creative and you got your business side, you're going to have different pitch for different people, okay? People think it's like one pitch. No, there's not, okay? You're going to have a creative pitch to attract potential partner, okay? Potential distributor, potential network, okay? You might go to CBC or Radio-Canada or any NBC or ABC. You might go to a distributor, okay? You might go to a big studio like a Warner Bros. Or you might go to a Netflix. You might go to different people. So with the creative pitch, you will adjust. Chances are in your creative pitch, you won't, the first time, you're not going to get everything out. Okay, like, we have a lot of information. You're going to have to do a summary. People don't have much time. And creative pitch is like something like very fast and very focused. So you don't get into the total business plan and the whole bit, okay? The creative pitch will get you into an interest from them. And then once it's going to be an interest from them and they want to talk to you more, then you're going to have to bring the business plan, the script, the storyboard, everything. Now they're going to need to see more. But the creative pitch is to get you the foot into the door, get their interest. Usually what's going to come out is some letter of interest from them and say, we're interested to investigate further on this project. Bring your plan, bring everything. Let's review this and see if what you told us is backed up by solid. Okay, if you say we're going to need like $5 million, we're going to be generating that much money in a bit. Okay, we like what you just said. Now bring everything so we could see the backup behind this. And if you are weak into this and you throw all kind of things in your pitch and you don't have solid backup out of this, for sure, you're going to be kicked out very fast. Because once you're going to discover there's nothing behind that pitch, then again, it's a good way to get burned very fast. So again, you need to be solid. That pitch will be a summary, will be focused, but then after that, you're going to be able to get into the door and having this discussion with them. You will do some financing requests. So for example, here in Canada, you have some funds, you get some organization at the provincial, you get the organization more like Canadians organization, Telefilm. Every location have their own place where you could ask, for money for a creative project, cultural type of development, documentary, etc. So you should go there and present your project. They have ways to review the project. So there's not one way. Not everybody's looking at that the same way. Some of them will want more detail. Some of them will want more on the creative side. Some of them will be looking more from criteria that fits with society. So again, you're going to have to look at everyone individually and adapt your pitch, financing request versus what they're looking at. And of course, you will have tax credit calculation that needs to be put in place depending on where you produce. Tax credit could go up to 40%, as far as I'm concerned, here in Canada. If you produce here and you're going to have VFX and the whole bit, so yeah, you could go up to 40% on tax credit. So that is a big amount that you need to consider when you're looking at your total production budget there. All of this, will have to be secure and attached with contract. So you will move to contract on distribution, agent, network, etc. Some of them, these contracts, will not going to provide you any money. Like, for example, you might be signing a distribution with someone and they're saying, we're committing to distribute, but we're not giving you any money. Some of them will say, we'll give you a minimum guarantee in the future once this movie is coming in. Maybe internationally, you will have agencies and also they'll give you some minimum guarantee. But again, you will have to consolidate all of the money that you have coming from your financing request, your tax credit, etc. And if you have commitment, what I call long-term commitment in the future, for example, a minimum guarantee, which is not coming in now, you will want to convert all of this situation. Same thing with tax credit. Tax credit will come at the end, does not come right up front. You will want to convert all of this into an immediate cash so you could go and be able to start, right? So it's good to say, I'm going to save 40% on my tax credit, but it's going to come at the end. It doesn't give me anything now. So, and I'm going to need to hire people. So what do? Well, there's what we call the interim financings for cash. You go to the bank. Your finance structure needs to be in place, okay? They're not going to, give you anything if you don't come with everything's really tight, all the contracts signed, all the commitment from everybody is there. So they will take a look at your financial structure and they will advance you the money in return of taking the assets. Like, for example, your tax credits are very bankable immediately, so especially in Canada, because they know the government will pay you. And any others, if it's a distributors, they know, and it's a minimum guarantee, they're probably gonna front the money, etc. So then you could start to do this. Now you have to take a look at the rules, because you're not going to get 100% out of these bank, as up front, and they have different criteria depending. Are you new? Is it your another movie? They will expect you also to chip in as a production company, like usually, but they don't want you to put too much. Usually they will say not more than 10%, but you should put in certain amount of money, because if all the budget comes from other people, then you're not really invested into it. So it's really like a bank loan, but the asset you're putting is your financial structure that you have built in. And there you go. Now you have the money, you got the cash, it's in your company, and you could start, okay? So that would be the way to tackle this one.